All right, gotta let it run a little bit extra because tonight is a milestone episode. It is episode 50 of the Game of Thrones Dynasty Fantasy Football Podcast. Hosting is Iron Bank, and might as well call it a dadcast because we've got the two dads of the hosts on to start with a rumored appearance by the single man in the group. But anyways, Jeremy, welcome.
Thanks. I'm super glad to actually make it to one of our milestone episodes. Really did not think it was ever going to happen. I missed 25, 20, 30, I think every 10th episode, but couldn't miss 50.
I was going to say, this is it the gold anniversary or the platinum anniversary that it's 50? I feel like we should know these things.
I thought it was silver, but I don't know.
I'll tell you what, we get to 50, then, high five anniversary. That's what we're talking about here. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, seriously, 50. I think I'm trying to think. The first one of these we did, I think we were really bored and most of us a little drunk on a Friday. It was Lewis, Santi was in there. You were on one of the original 4, right?
It was me, you, Lewis, and Santi was the first ever episode, and Santi was on his wind tunnel microphone. Lewis was, I don't even know what he was using before his fancy mic. It was pretty fun, but yeah, we were all playing around. Didn't know what we were doing. I had my original sound effects with the just the fireball as my transition sound effect. That's when we used to do sound effects.
That's right. That's before I started hosting these things, and I'm a far less host than the rest of you guys. So my apologies, but sorry, not sorry.
No, it's all good.
Just trying to think back to other notable items. Of course, we had the mic issues where that came and went. The Zencaster period, which was probably still the majority of our pods at this point, but I think we're enjoying the Google Hangout option and the accompanying YouTube video that comes with it.
I think definitely the YouTube and the Google Hangout is the way to go for what we're trying to do with because it gets more audience participation, where people seem to be interested in jumping on with us. I don't know if they can see us being dumbasses makes it easier, but it's better for a situation. We're not like trying to broadcast, I think the Zencaster method was better for if you're like Dream Leaguers or whatever, trying to make something that you're distributing to an audience that's not necessarily a part of the league you're talking about.
Yeah.
But for Game of Thrones, I think this is definitely the way to go.
And I mean, plus it confirms for, like you said, everyone involved that, yeah, we're just messing around, and we've all got faces made for radio. All right, well, it is the off season, and not a ton to cover yet. We haven't quite gotten into the hype of the draft season. I think the Senior Bowl is still around the corner. Practice is just kicking off there, so not a lot to cover there. However, we do have the superlative results.
Yeah,
which is going to be a lot of fun to go through. A couple of really close races, a couple upsets, if you ask me. But really fun showing. I think we had 21 votes across the board. We had a couple that got up to 23. So I'm not sure why people voted for some and not for others. But hey, we'll take what we can get. The only question will be, what's up with the last 9 of you who didn't even try? Come on, guys. You're logging into the site for some reason or another. I probably sent at least, half of you trades. I don't even know who you are. And I'm just, by statistical measure, I probably hit up half of you for trade. So least you could do is vote on some of these things. They're pretty fun. And, they get to stay on the banners forever.
That's the big thing. Your jersey, it doesn't wash away. To Lewis's chagrin, these things stick, as ridiculous as they are. So you should vote.
And again, first award, which has absolutely nothing to do with fantasy football, but is definitely probably one of my favorite, results because it came down to 1 vote and there were 2 options. And again, really showed that both of these these candidates brought a lot to this category. So, of course, category was Best Podcast Guest. The nominees were House Greyjoy and House Clegane. And inching it out, and this is probably because he made some promises to the waitress down at the bar for an extra bottle of wine after he spilled his all over his hotel room, was House Clegane.
It just goes to show, the fails at big plays are what are remembered. Okay. We saw this in the last playoff game. The big failures are what gets remembered, and that's how people vote. So, Clegane spilling wine all over his hotel room. I mean, that's right up there with throwing for yards. So, hats off to you, Clegane. You deserve it. Greyjoy made a good showing. You're basically a co-host at this point. You've been on as many episodes this year as Eric was last year, so basically the same thing. But Clegane spilling the wine, and the video froze at like the perfect time. I don't know how many times you've rewatched it, but like when it happens, it like glitches and freeze frames right as it's spilling out. I mean, that's timeless.
So, and this just in, over in the Game of Thrones chat, almost on cue, Clegane posts goodbye and then leaves the group. So, hopefully he's putting the league right after he won Best Podcast co-host. But, how drama, I guess, in the chat.
Whoa, what?
I don't know. All right, fun continue.
What is his video there? His avatar changed too. What is that?
I don't know.
It's like a baby. Chub Chub McGrub.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, it is Chub season for him finally, since Chub has declared. But neither here nor there. All right, on to the next one here, and hopefully the results of this one didn't get whoever wanted to leave the league, because that would be really awkward. The category was Start Sit Master. And the 4 nominees, and this actually, everyone got votes and was very close finish between House Forrester, House Baneford, House Free Folk. Yes, I did it again. We'll probably have an appearance of Kelchi and a couple of others while we're at it, and then House Harding. Winner was House Baneford with 7, a third of the vote exactly. So, although I guess that does add up. Free Folk got 6 and Forrester got 5. So. Very much up for debate in terms of, who made the right decisions week to week. Baneford, I think, had the highest efficiency or was up there.
He had the highest in the league efficiency, and he won the league. I mean, this one's kind of the easy category because you go with that. Like, yeah, he limited himself, so he didn't have too many decisions to make, but he had the highest efficiency, and he won. And at the end of the day, when you win, that's all that matters.
At the end of the day, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Oh, man. Yeah, but good on you for that one, and congratulations on showing House Egan how it's done. He didn't exactly cut the rest of his roster, but definitely built his team without having to question much from week to week. Hey, who am I going to start this week versus next week? So yeah, ends up with high efficiency, and he is the Start Sit Master. So let me double check the chat here. No, Baneford has not left the chat yet, so we're okay on this one. We don't have to look for a new champion. Next is the Lord of Waivers. We were talking about beforehand how last year this was a highly sought after title to the point where it got thrown away at Santi, who actually did the work, but also at the Kutztown University crew, who I believe combined for 0 waiver claims or dollars spent last year. So it's glad to see a little step up in competition this year. Everyone in the category got votes, which was nice. Gotta imagine a couple of people voted for themselves, but teach their own. But the winner.
Yes, I voted for myself.
The winner with 8 of the 21 votes and double the next highest vote getter was the Old Town Maesters. Again, I can't remember off the top of my head who some of his crucial pickups were.
RFJ.
Right. Perfect timing, too. Good job, Eric.
Eric was the
Yeah, I
other
picked him up.
RSJ pickup, but he
Yeah.
spent money, and Justin got him for either free or considerably cheaper. That's all I
I got him
remember.
for 800 something. He got him for 300 something. I just put the whole budget because it was towards the end of the year. But he got him with
I don't
money
know what
left.
to think. Like Eric's got like a collar and like a nice jacket, and he's clean, like not clean shaven, but like for him, it's like a nice good shave there. I don't know who am I looking at here.
Is he?
I'll put on the light. Give me a second. The jacket's not nice. It's just like an old sweatshirt. But here, give me a
Maybe it's
second.
just the whole thing's like
The question is he coming from a date?
this seems like a date attire or an interview.
An interview at 10 o'clock at night. Are you finally going to pursue becoming a stripper?
What? I just come back and here. Are you pursuing a stripper? What?
No,
He's
I'm
got the
wondering.
undershirt.
We thought that maybe you were coming back from a date because you're dressed so nicely, but if not, maybe it was an interview. And I'm trying to think of the places that would have an interview at 10 o'clock on Tuesday night. And I mean, strip clubs probably on the short list of places that would be interviewing.
Yeah, no. This is just what I wore to work. Usually I change out, but I didn't have time today, so it's
Because of the date
wearing it.
/ interview.
I didn't have a date. I wish I had a date. I would have loved to go on a date, but nope. Still single, still not dating. No interview.
All right, so sorry, ladies. Eric has not chosen life as a stripper yet, but don't worry. I'm sure by next couple of episodes and continuing going through rookies over and over and listening to Lewis talk about it over and over, he'll probably drive himself mad enough to think it's a good idea.
He nods.
All
For
right.
those audio listeners.
All right. Well, moving on to the next one. The next 2017 superlative is our first negative of the superlatives. Worst trader. The three nominees were, self-nominee myself, the Iron Bank, the Night's Watch, and House Tyrell. And the people have spoken, although I think it's many of the folks who have dealt with him in chat or otherwise. House Tyrell takes the majority of 12 of the 23 votes and is chosen as worst trader. So, again, despite other bad trades, despite my continuous lowballs, and despite some of the notorious offers that went through for Night's Watch, Tyrell takes home worst trader. Eric, I think you nominated him last year.
Well, you know what? There's 3 nominations, and I had 2 of them, so I had a good shot at winning this one, and it does feel good. Actually, my vote did go to Night's Watch because I do hate dealing with Tyrell, but looking at Night's Watch trades, they were so bad. But the people of Game of Thrones have decided to make this who I hate dealing with more than who dealt the worst people. And I'm assuming I wasn't here at the beginning. Maybe Night's Watch already won that award, which he deserved.
Not yet. Hold. I'm sorry.
Okay. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't know you didn't get to it. But so hopefully he wins that one. Tyrell, well deserved, worst trader, 2018. Congratulations.
It's so weird because if you told me like out of the blue, who do you hate negotiating with the most? I would instantly say 55. Yeah, Tyrell, no way. I hate it. But like being forced to look at my trade history and all the different deals I've made over the last 2 years, 2.5 years I've been with this crowd, like I make a lot of deals with 55, and at the end of the day, a deal made is a good thing, and so I have to disagree with the crowd on this one. I think that while I hate to make deals with 55, he is not a bad trader as far as the worst trader. With the other nominees in this category, I don't think he deserved this one. I don't know. It's a weird thing to think about, but I disagree. I did not vote for him. I think a certain other member of this nomination class deserved it, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. All right. Well, to recap, since we're a couple in here, the results thus far: House Clegane won Best Podcast Guest and may have done a bit of a mic drop because the word from Lewis in chat is that he quit.
What?
No shit. Did Lewis say that?
Lewis said that in chat. So, we'll see if this is breaking news and we're having to replace him or what's going on. So,
wait, so does Greyjoy win by default, or is it like a parting win?
I think Greyjoy wins by default because Clegane's wouldn't carry over to the new owner. So, Or would there just not be a winner?
Well, I think no. If Clegane not in for the long haul, he doesn't deserve guest of the year. I don't care what the votes are. We got to have a winner that's in it.
He hasn't dropped any of the other leagues that he's in with us yet. What the hell? This is a weird time to have a cast.
This is fantastic. All right, I was worried this was gonna be a slow news day, and we had some breaking news. It's like Tiger Woods actually tried to get away from his house when he got chased down with a 9-iron. Really? No one else got that reference? Cool. Okay, I'm old. But yeah, next we had Start Set Master, which was Banefort. We had Lord of Waivers, which was Maesters, and we had Worst Trader, which was Tyrell. But again, that was the first of the negatives, which leads us to the next negative, Worst Trade. So we had 7 nominees on this one. 3 did not receive votes, so I won't read those out again. But the 4 that did were Night's Watch and Lewis, Baratheon, now Didarian, who Night's Watch gave DJ what became the 101, which was Baratheon's first pick. Fozzie Whitaker and Terrell Watson for Tariq Cohen, Chris Carson, and CJ Anderson. Reed and Forrester had a deal which got some action here. Reed giving Jordan Reed and Adrian Peterson for Travis Kelce. Ended up being a little bit lopsided as Peterson got traded and Reed basically got benched with concussion issues. Tyrell giving what ends up becoming the 104, or I believe that's the 102B, or is that an actual one of the 104s? Reed?
I'm sorry, I was elsewhere.
I think that's Egan's pick. Yeah, so I think that's one of the 104s.
104, yeah, is Egan's pick for sure.
And then last but not least was House Woad giving Tariq Cohen and Nate Peterman for Cam Newton and I think it was probably D'Angelo Henderson. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, the lesson to be learned here was if you wanted to make a worse trade Tariq Cohen because he's involved in 2 of these. But the winner, to nobody's surprise, was Night's Watch and Baratheon. TJ in the 101 going to Lewis as he uses a waiver claim, a 3rd-round pick, and a running back likely who's about to lose his job this year to completely rebuild his team with 2 of the cornerstone pieces that I think just went in the first round of a startup that Eric and I are in. So good for you, Eric. Tough luck, Night's Watch. You guys will both get worst trade on your banners going forward. But, it was only really bad for one of you. So it's a point of pride, maybe.
So now,
was this the one that you had called early, Mike, like half a season ago, saying that it was already wrapped up? Was that this deal?
Yeah, this was the one that I said, guys, don't worry about trading, don't worry about making deals, because Worst Trader has been wrapped up.
Okay, yeah.
Now, with this a solid win for Lewis, does this give him the first owner to both have Worst Trader and Worst Trade accolades?
I believe it does.
Rightfully so. Congratulations to our fearless commissioner.
2 different names. Oh, no, I guess these are both Baratheon.
Right. Yeah, Worst Trade last year was, I think, Woden and Harding. And then Worst Trader was Lewis. And then we've got Tyrell with Night's Watch and Lewis here. So, Lewis was the Worst Trader last year and benefited from the Worst Trade this year. So, talking about turning over a new leaf, maybe being a Padawan under House Harding has some merit to it. But anyways, the kind of not really surprise, but cool story for me on Worst Trade was second place at about of 6 of the votes, so about 25% of the results was the 104 for Terrell Pryor. So, I thought it was going to be a closer race, a little bit more distribution of the votes, but
I think we had too many nominations. We need to work on our system for superlatives next season.
We got talking, and probably most of what we talk about in the off-season trades anyway. So, can't fault us for overly discussing, especially with some hindsight, some of the bad deals. But still, I got you.
Maybe next year, just a quick insight. Everyone gets 1 nomination. The rest we could do honorable mentions when we mention, but then when the voting goes up, there's only 4. Or
that's
5
what we did last season.
one.
We did everyone who was on the actual cast got a single nomination. So it was like the four of us, and I think we had a special guest the week of the nominees. It was probably Ian or something. But I think that's the better way to do it, because then it's just locked in, and then the document is more useful, and then I don't miss any nominations like I did this year.
Yeah, and what happened? I have like 3/5 of the nominations.
Yeah, because
So
you're like the only one who filled it out, and I threw in a couple.
yeah, you had all the waivers. You did a good job with the waivers. So
I did way better last year on waivers, but yeah.
So next year it will be a little more thought out, but I think the winners still deserve it. I think there's one close vote that we haven't got to yet, or maybe we already passed it. But besides that, they're pretty landslide.
Well, actually, yeah, we've got a pretty close one coming here next. And again, it's one that you're going to be very interested in Eric, because it was for Best Trader. And it was a 3-horse race between two podcast hosts, Lewis and Eric, as well as our current king, House Banford. And really, and it makes a lot of sense, kind of in terms of no matter which way you slice it, going from a team that was a cellar dweller last year to one of the top teams this year. The case for Banefort was going from almost Castamere to King, but going from, I think, 3 wins to 14 during the regular season is a pretty good story, too. So congratulations, Eric, for being the best trader, even though he only does it, I think, 14 times.
Yeah, I guess it just matters when you trade.
Quality over quantity.
Well, I'll give a little speech. I'd like to thank Lewis. Lewis was the one that nominated me, so Lewis gets a horse in the race here. Congratulations to Lewis. And thank you to all the people that voted for me. If you voted for me and you never traded with me, it's a pretty good experience. You're going to get a player you like. You're going to get a pick you like. So just step into my office. We'll make a deal.
Eric, what was you bought Fat Rob off me, didn't you, this year?
No, that was me.
I traded JJ Nelson for Fat Rob.
To me, right. And then I traded JJ Nelson to Reed for his Fat Rob.
Oh, that's what it was. That's right. There's a lot of Fat Robs moving.
Yeah, that was a make an offer. I will make a trade sweepstakes. So that did not turn out well. But I would also like to give an honorable mention to myself, since I think I was the majority of your trades this year. Not the majority, but the plurality of your trades this year, Eric. So even though I think I voted for Banefort,
you can't nominate yourself for worst trader and also take an honorable mention for somebody else's best trader.
Hey, if he says it's quality over quantity, and I'm the person who's dealt with the most, that's quality. You got to take that.
And while we're at it, one more thank you. I want to thank House Stark for all the campaigning he did for me at the beginning of the season. I traded Alvin Kamara to him for Michael Crabtree, so I'm sure he riled up.
How did you win best trader? What the hell?
To be fair,
right. So there was a miscount. House Banefort wins best trader.
Yeah.
I mentioned it.
I'm sorry, I opened the wrong envelope.
See, how was that one not up for worst trade?
When Lewis nominated me, I had a disclaimer. I said, just to let you guys know, I traded Kamara for Crabtree, and Lewis was like, "Oh, it was the beginning of the season. No one knew." And
was this when I was not on the cast? Was I absent?
Could have been.
Oh man, that hurts me in some ways.
Me too.
I had a deal in place at one point where I was getting Kamara and giving up DeMarco Murray, and that fell through at one point. It was basically I had the framework in place, but one of the people involved backed out because the quarterback he was giving up was not good enough for Jordy Nelson, he thought, or was too good for Jordy Nelson. So hindsight, things are pretty even on that front. But had that gone through, I would have had Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara on my teams before I started trading my first-round picks. So that could have been a lot different season. Really, guys? Nothing after I speak at this point?
All right. Well said.
Oh, God. All right. Well, last but not least, we'll go from the negatives to the positives here. Best trade. This was really cool because we had votes for all 5 nominees, and you were either a winner or you were a runner-up because you either got 7 votes or 3, and we actually had a tie. So the 5 nominees were Tully giving Gurley and the 111 and Carew for Fournette, McCaffrey, with Clegane. It was myself, Iron Bank, giving A-Rob to Harding for Ginn, 123, 125, and 127. So that would be the 112, 113, and 114 equivalent. Those changed hands a few more times in the draft. If you go back beyond reading Lannister's soliloquies, you'll see that a lot of the picks changed hands 3 or 4 times at the very least. Next was Banefort giving up Corey Davis to get Kareem Hunt, which helped with Bulwer, which helped fuel his run to the title. Another one of the trades which helped his title push was an injured Deshaun Watson, Will Fuller, and Josh Gordon for Jared Goff, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Ed Dixon. And last but not least was my deal with Egan, which I think Eric probably downvoted a few times, where I give up Dak, Booker, D'Angelo Henderson, Devontae Mays, and Terrence Williams for Tom Brady, Santee's first, which ended up being a 103 equivalent, and a 4th and a 5th. So, anyways, everything got votes, but we had a tie for the winner. Both receiving 7 votes were the trade between Tully and Clegane, which we'll call the Gurley, and I think it was Gurley, Mahomes for Fournette and McCaffrey. And then the other winner was Watson, Fuller, and Gordon for Goff, Juju Smith, Schuster, and Dixon between Banford and Maesters. So whereas we had the first, Lewis being the first worst trader and worst trade recipient, in the same year we had best trade and best trader. Actually, not best trader this year. Apologies, Eric. I'm already trying to strip you of the title here. But Maesters winning twice in this award show for Lord of Waivers as well as Best Trade. So we've got a tie with 7. So Jeremy, we talked about this earlier. We're thinking all 4 teams are going to get the Best Trade moniker.
I'm pretty sure I did that last year. So precedent and all that. All the teams that won it will get the little tag on the thing. I think the way I did it. I have to look at how I did it last year, but I'm 90% sure that I gave every single team that won, including Kutztown University's bullshit, the little tag on their jerseys.
Well, now that we're done with the polls here, let me jump over to a Kutztown jersey to see what's going on.
And that's actually the second one of the night for Baneford as well. One start, sit master.
Yep.
And now best trade. So
yeah.
Congratulations to him too. 2 wins.
No, the reach is really cleaning up on this award show. Tyrell with an award, Maesters with 2. Oh, my bad. I thought Baneford was over there. He's over in Western. But yeah, no. Checking your work here, you are correct, Reed. House Swan has start, sit master, and Lord of Waivers on her banner. So, based off the tie, we're going to have 4 best trade winners this 2017 year. So, congratulations, guys. That's definitely a positive to have on there, and one to look back on with pride.
Yay!
So with the 4 teams, it was Banefort, Old Town.
It was Banefort, it was Old Town, it was Tully, and it was Clegane. So Clegane would have won twice, but he's maybe quit the league? Question mark?
God, such a weird. I don't know. I'm asking like a bunch of people. No one's responding to me. I don't know what's going on.
Wait a second. He just traded Crowell for White recently. Like, he's not trading like a person who's about to step away or give up his team.
Anybody in D96? Isn't he still in there?
No, and Mike dropped there. I think Eric Mike dropped there. So,
yep, sure did.
That's done. So, shit. He's still in GMs. He's still in. I don't know what. Isn't he in Cleveland?
I have no idea. Was he in Cleveland?
I don't know. I thought he was. I know he's in GMs and he's still there. He's in Risk, kind of.
I sent him a message. I said, "Hey, man, why'd you leave the chat?"
I guess this night will be an awkward one, since we spent the first 20 minutes of the cast talking about how great he is.
Yeah, because I don't see him in Dumpster Fire.
Maybe he's not in that league. I thought he was.
No. Okay, fair enough. Shed. All right.
What's next? We got any others?
So again, that means yeah, by rule, does Tully still win a best trade if Clegane is left as part of this?
I mean, he waited till after the results were in to quit. If he quit, so technically they were in and the awards were applied, and then he quit.
I don't know. Woad is saying Lewis is just having a go.
Lewis said something?
I'm sorry, House Malister said something. It's going to take a while for me to change what I call him there, but maybe I'll get it down at one point.
I don't know. I asked Lewis in the PM, and he hasn't responded to me. He usually does, so...
I'm feeling someone's...
I think Lewis is playing FIFA, so that's why he's not responding.
That could be it. But yeah, so those are the polls, and thus ends the 2017 season.
So long, farewell.
Please continue.
What?
So long, farewell.
I don't know.
Thought you were going to break the song here.
Nah, that was it. Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
Very true. We do have a viewer, too. Let's see.
Who's watching? Is it Clegane? Join us.
I don't know.
Tell us what's up.
Yeah, we need Clegane on here as soon as possible. It went from like an award show to like, holy shit, we might have just lost one of our good men.
One of our key players since the beginning.
One of our Alshon Jeffries.
I was going to say, would you call him?
Oh,
no. Core member.
Yeah, Reed, answer the question. Is he a core league member?
He was pretty core. Is pretty core? I don't know what tense to use right now.
Oh my god. Definitely spiced.
Answer me, Clegane or Lewis.
All right. Well, I mean, that's the main meat we have for the episode 50 show. Eric, we're going through memories of the cast thus far. I know you joined us a couple episodes in. Any particular memories you want to bring up of the 50 episodes thus far?
Oh, wow. I didn't come prepared. Well, did you go over Santi's wind tunnel when he appeared in episode 1?
We did. We did, actually.
Okay.
We mentioned Lewis trying to murder his keyboard. Pre-post mics.
Yeah, Lewis trying to figure out a microphone for 10 episodes is pretty fun. Definitely a user error when it comes to that. The throw for yards was the first best episode by far. Clegane getting drunk on the podcast was also really good. I think, he did spill wine on the floor, but that night when he was just saying, I don't know why everyone hates Tyrell. He's a nice guy. I like him. And like someone else would start talking shit about somebody else, and he'd say, oh, I don't know why everyone talks shit about Woad. I like him. He just kept saying how he likes everyone. I still don't see why he would quit. That was definitely...
Hey, you remember that time we were recording a podcast and then somebody quit in the middle of it?
I really hope it's a rumor. It's not true. Like,
you remember that time that we were recording a podcast and one of the hosts got out a pillow and went to sleep in the middle of it?
He was bombed.
That was a pretty great episode too. And oh god, I felt so bad. And honorable mentions for Greyjoy in that one because he joined the podcast with the thought in mind of I'm going to watch Eric open this live and get iced on the podcast. he was telling me after, he's like, I'm so pissed off about this because I'm Eric's Secret Santa. I've iced him. I'm joining the podcast to watch him open this live while he's bombed. Like, he was going to derive infinite joy from this. And Eric fell asleep.
It's the only podcast of the probably 40 or so I've been on that I fell asleep. Only one.
Yes,
That's the only one anyone has fallen asleep on. You don't get to get out of it because it was your first.
Look, I mean,
It was just bad luck that the gift was on that night. That's all.
sometimes you say Joik, sometimes you say Waki. I mean, sometimes you say Kelsey, sometimes you say Kelchi. Like, that you don't just one mistake is all you need in this group.
Wonderful times.
Absolutely. All right. Well, 50 might as well keep it short and sweet since we don't have a ton to talk about yet. We have a fun off season ahead of us. I guess we could look at if there are any trades that we want to talk about. Anything that really, Jeremy, I know you're not in front of your computer. Anything that kind of jumped to mind for you, or?
I'll say that your last offer was the most interesting one that you've sent me thus far this off season. Hence the no insta reject. But no, completed trades. Nothing really jumps out at me.
Yeah, I think I'm finally getting better. Like I'm coming off.
You're getting it out of your system. All the trashy ones. You're getting there.
Well, yeah, it's I was wildly off or on with some of my valuations early on, but I think I'm settling into market at this point. So one of my more recent ones was compelling as well. So I'm taking it from you two guys that if the offers are starting to become compelling, then I'm settling in. And although, unless you're a Vikings fan, because I was throwing Diggs and Cook's name around to Viking fans asking for the world after that huge win. But can you blame
you
me?
had to have hit Stark like within minutes. The touchdown. That was the moment.
Yeah, it went immediately, and it lasted overnight, and I kind of hung out there. And he's today in chat telling me, just stop. I'm not going to do it. Just don't even do it. All right, Eric. Any observations or thoughts trades wise on your side?
Yeah, I got a good offer from you, Mike. It's sitting there. I don't know how to accept it or decline it, so I'm just going to let it sit there until I get a revelation. It's a toughie.
Ladies and gentlemen, your best trader.
Yeah, it is.
I could easily do what most owners would do when they're stuck and counter for more, but I think it's a fair offer, so I'm either going to accept or decline this one.
I just let it sit, and then I reject without comment when there's like about 10 minutes left.
Well, the one thing that's a little bit interesting is that I don't want to say anything about the trade while it's active, but it may include one or more members of players that are still active in the playoffs. And it makes it trickier when it's not the off season for everybody. And it's what makes it a little bit risky. I don't know. I have no idea.
Why? If they get hurt now, it doesn't matter. They still have an entire off season to get healthy.
I'm bamboozled. I don't know. Have you ever seen an offer and you're like, I don't know what to do with this? That's where I am right now.
I just let it sit there and then I reject when there's 10 minutes left.
I'm proud that you actually log on to reject it because it just rejects, right, if you don't get on anyway.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I think besides that, the one other piece of housekeeping we have is I think we had a couple of polls open for rule changes, and all of them failed, right, Jeremy?
I'm assuming so because it would have brought attention. Sorry, when I was looking at poll, I was just looking at the superlatives. Let me advance down.
So I'm seeing.
No, the IR stuff passed. So
yeah, because you need 75%.
So that one passed by a lot. The instant trade is passed.
Did it? I thought it was needing 75%.
We can not trade a player during the week of their game. It's not 75%, is it?
Game won by one vote?
Yes.
Wow.
Welcome to the podcast. Wait, who's here? Is that not Eric?
No, this is Lewis. Hi, how are you?
Okay, sorry, I wasn't looking at the video. I couldn't tell. um,
Let me see here. I thought it was.
it may be 75%. I thought it was just majority in the off season if it went to vote, but maybe that's
Yeah,
different
rules
leagues.
may be changed during the regular season with a consent of commissioner. 75% of all. Oh, regular season.
What about off
75%.
season? Does it say anything about off season?
I don't know.
Does it say we'll follow the NFL rules because they have polls in the NFL for? It's a Greyjoy joke. I think those are the only two votes. I don't know. A lot of people wanted it to go instant, and I think it should go instant because the thing that we were worried about before was people being able to retain their points and then trade or like the points not sticking with the trading team.
Yeah.
Which they will. So, but whatever. It's not game breaking. It's just for the people who are super active traders, like yourself, Mike, or Harding.
Well, that's fine. People who don't trade don't necessarily want to incentivize or help those of us who do. So I can see it going down, but it still adds a wrinkle, which is kind of cool. I think you for sure kind of pushing all the chips in to make 2 weeks into the playoffs for D96.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yes, that's what I did.
Which was otherwise a very lopsided trade, and then Old Town and I making a collusion trade where both of us left the league. So good times.
Wait, so we have more people voting in the rule changes than the superlative. So people are just adamantly checking out of social. It's probably the same people that don't talk, right? Like, why?
Well, to be fair, Lewis did email about the rule changes. I did not email about the superlatives. So
okay, so people, and I mean, to be fair, the superlatives, they're just in the end, it's not an important issue. But if you're in the league, why not partake in the league?
Oh, I'm with you there. I'm just
Stupid
it might
assholes.
be people who just get the emails and like, oh yeah, I'll go vote. But if they're not already there looking at polls and stuff, then they're not going to know that there's a superlative thing.
Yeah, gotcha.
Cool. All right, so that'll be it for this week. Eric, any thoughts?
Yeah, Super Smash Brothers bylaws will be finished soon, and then I just got to work on the MFL implementation because I've never done that before. But we're making progress. I don't know if I want to draft before the rookie draft starts. I know some people will be upset by that, but I'm just trying to set things up. I've never done it before, so it's gonna be not as quick as Lewis does it. Lewis makes it seem like it's easy, and it doesn't look that easy to me.
Hey, do you know why?
Why?
Because he's got a good graphics guy.
Yeah, I'm looking for one. I think Woad said he's gonna help, but I don't know how to set up MFL for shit.
All right. Well, maybe someone was just offering their services to help for a fee.
Yeah, I'll see if that guy has any time. He's supposedly really nice, so I can't wait to talk to him.
We'll see.
It's pretty affordable.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy. Any final thoughts?
Oh, no. I'm just glad that I could make it to one of the big number episodes. I know kind of a weird mood since it was supposed to be kind of a fun, primitive one with the stuff with Clegane, but still glad I was here for this. Looking forward to season 3. We're going to have a whole another season of fantasy football before we get another season of the show, which is unfortunate, but still, good times.
It'll hold us over.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, enjoyed talking to you guys. My closing thought was that I actually had my first ever game of Game of Thrones Risk this past weekend.
Nice.
Got together with some friends, told my wife about it, and brought my wife and kid. The kids had a play date while myself and 2 friends played Game of Thrones Risk. A couple of observations: if you're playing a small game, pick Lannister because they're a little bit overpowered for the small scale battles. But definitely an interesting twist on the game. So definitely recommend it for any who
Does
haven't played
does
it.
each house get like special rules?
So there's an addition to it where there are character cards for different houses. So, for example, Lannister has Tyrion, Tywin, Jaime, and Cersei, and they impact what happens on the board. So, for example, if you play the Jaime card during a roll, you roll the dice, and then you get to play the Jaime card and have one die switch to the highest value of that die. So there's 8-sided die and 6-sided die involved in the game. But basically, if you've played Risk before, say Eric's defending rolls a 5 and a 2, and I roll a 4 and a 3, well, or a 4 and a 1, I would lose 2 men. Whereas if I use the Jaime card, I can change the 1 to a 6 and take 2 of his instead. So it swings battles relatively, rapidly
That's
that
fun.
way. Yeah. So it's a nice add-in. So definitely worth checking out. It's got both the Seven Kingdoms and an Essos add-on as well. So definitely could be a large group of people playing for 8 quarts of a day. Our game took us probably about 3 or 4 hours, as Risk games do, but a lot of fun.
All right.
Anyways, enjoy talking to you guys. Congratulations on 50.
Woo!
And hopefully 50 more, and hopefully 50 more years of the league. Well, maybe not 50 more, but definitely a good amount more. Definitely enjoying the group, and even if we
100
may have
years.
lost one of our Alshans, yeah, that's right, Rick and Morty, 100 years. Even if we would have lost one of our Alshans tonight, I think we still got a pretty good group of first round talent in this league, and looking forward to a fun off season, a fun rookie draft, and a fun third season. So. That being said, thanks for joining and enjoy your evening.